wanted to give you all an update on my red wiggler operation. As you recall, I'm using the same containers that I use for my mealworm farming. And I had set it up to where I have these egg flats that I put in there. And I thought that I could use these for a long time and add water to the little troughs that are created there and have it drip down from the bottom slowly into the container, and it would allow me to regulate the moisture content of the soil, and I wouldn't have to be watering it all the time. Well, I ran into a little bit of an issue, and I wanted to show that to you. As you can see, the egg flat material, crate material, did not hold up too well. It didn't hold water, literally or figuratively, for very long. And so another thing that I noticed is that I started getting some plant-like material growing underneath the egg flat. And, you know, I kind of like this because I think that it adds some micronutrients to the soil as the worms are doing their vermicomposting thing. It kind of adds some micronutrients and keeps this from going bad, so to speak. And so I like that extra biological material. Well, the problem is, and as you recall, I have a top on these containers that is fully ventilated. And so the problem is that if I take the egg flats out, I'm not going to be able to regulate the moisture content as easily. There's going to be a lot of surface evaporation. And so I'm probably going to have to add more water. Well, the problem with adding more water is that you can drown your red wiggler worms pretty easily. And also the liquid that builds up, which is called a leachate, can contain some bad stuff, some phytotoxins and some other things that make it undesirable to have your worms kind of just, you know, messing around in that muck. So you've got to strike a balance between the proper moisture level and too much water. And so what a lot of people do, and a shout out to Kai Lamb, who commented on one of my videos and suggested that you have a catchment system for the leachate with respect to each container. And I think that's a great idea. The problem is that I've got to figure out how to design that because, you know, obviously I'm working with a fixed size container. And so I started putting some thought to that. And I realized that these full-size food service pans actually fit inside of each other. And so you can see that they have a little kind of a lip here that prevents it from going past a certain point. So I can essentially nest two of these and perforate the bottom of this one so that the leachate will go into this bottom one, and from time to time I can collect it and I can use it for, you know, you don't want to use it on your vegetables. I've read up on it. Apparently you can use it on plants but not on things you're going to eat. But it is, you know, it does have a lot of nutrients, but sometimes it can have some things that you don't want to get into your garden that can actually kill your plants versus help your plants. So I encourage you to read up on that. Leachate versus, there's another thing called vermicompost tea, which is apparently when this turns into vermicompost, it's not there yet, but once it turns into vermicompost, people will add water to the actual castings, and then they'll add some oxygenation to it to percolate oxygen throughout and get any bad anaerobic bacteria to essentially die off and create a very nice solution that is apparently safe for vegetables. But that's a whole nother video. I just want to point out that if you're collecting the leachate, read up on it before you put it on your vegetables. You might be able to put it around your shrubs and other things, but don't put it on your garden without confirming that you're comfortable with the risk, okay? So anyway, this is a system that I think will work really well. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about perforating one of these to create essentially a way for the leachate to drain off automatically. Okay, so I have one of my containers right here. And, you know, as I mentioned in my prior videos, these are great. They're solid. They're probably made out of polycarbonate, so they're really rigid. And that's all well and good when you're trying to avoid having a flimsy container for growing your worms. But it makes it a little more challenging when you're going to do things like try to perforate this to allow it to drain. And so what I'm going to do to prevent this thing from cracking as I'm drilling into it is I'm going to actually put down just some masking tape in a grid-like pattern, and wherever the patterns cross, that's where I'm going to drill my holes, so that the tape will give it a little bit of stability while I'm drilling, so hopefully it won't crack. And I also know where to space my holes pretty evenly. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to use, at the end, I'm going to use a drill bit. I got a drill bit set here. This one says 7/64. So if you don't have a 7/64, the next size up is 1/8 inch, and the next size down looks to be 3/32. So I mean, you know, just a small tip. You don't want it to be too big, because I don't want this to allow a lot of the soil to actually fall through those holes. I just want the liquid to fall through those holes. So like I said, first I'm going to just tape this up, and then we're going to do some drilling. So there you have it. I got a good grid going, and as I mentioned, I'm going to drill in the center of each of these places where the tape crosses, because it adds strength to the polycarbonate underneath, so hopefully it won't crack, and it also gives me a good guide to know how many holes to put and where to put them. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put something underneath this so that I can drill through it and I won't be drilling into my table. So here's another empty one. I'm going to use that on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and nest this, as I mentioned before. And now I'm going to go ahead and drill my holes. So there I've drilled all the little holes in the centers of where the tape pieces cross. And now all I'm going to do is take out those pieces of tape. Now that I have this perforated food pan, I'm going to go ahead and put it in another one that doesn't have any perforations. And then I'm going to take my existing worm bin. I'm just going to transfer it over. And you can see, I want to show you. Remember all that paper I put in here initially? Look at how it's already getting disintegrated by the worms. They're already doing their job. And that's only been, it's now August 1st. It's only been a month and some change, and they're already doing what they should be doing. So I'm very happy with that aspect. All right, let's get this over here. Now that I've got this system set up, I can take just some distilled water, and I can add it as I need to, and I'm not worried about drowning my worms. All right. Make sure I get it nice and moist. And I can come in from time to time, and I can do that, and any excess liquid is going to just drip down through there. And the beauty of this system is that you can still use the same top that I had before. And because I have this bin system over here set up with lips, even though I've got two nesting together, it still fits. So before, this lip would have been sitting here. Well, now I can put it to where this lip is on there, and I still have extra room on top for ventilation. And I'll have the same ventilation down here. So that's the benefit of the way I designed this holding system, is that you can slide it in and out, and you've got some extra space. Of course, I didn't budget for nesting, but I'm glad I budgeted for at least some extra space, some extra headroom for ventilation. All right, so there's my new Red Wiggler liquid catchment system, leachate catchment system. Again, shout out to Kai Lamb for the great suggestion. Kai commented on one of my other videos and let me know that this would be a great way to prevent my red wigglers from drowning. And as you can see, I implemented Kai's advice. So for the rest of you, if you have any comments like that, please feel free to share. It's all about us learning together. I don't profess to know everything, and I certainly love to hear feedback on things that I could improve on. And also, if you want to see something in one of my other videos, feel free to drop a comment, and I'll try and make a video on whatever it is you want to see down the road. So keep those comments coming, and until the next one, thanks so much for watching. Take care. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up below. You can also check out one of my other videos here, and stay up to date by subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. Until next time, I'll see you on the ranch.